Painting and decorating. Introduction to the module. Here, you will learn the tricks and techniques that painting pros use to get a perfectly painted room. Topics to be covered. Painting walls the easy way. Steps to paint a wall. Keeping a wet edge. Laying on process. Covering brush marks. Removing lumps. Painting walls the easy way. Painting is one of the smallest amounts of expensive ways to make over an area. However, even the simplest technique won't work with poor quality equipment. Don't waste your money on those all-in-one throwaway roller setups once you can purchase a professional setup that will last a lifetime for an inexpensive cost. Start with a good roller frame, sturdy and designed to keep the roller cover from slipping off while you paint. To extend your reach and to provide you with better control, screw a 48 inches wood handle onto the end of the roller. You could also use a threaded broom handle. You will need a container for the paint. While most homeowners use paint trays, you will rarely see a pro using one. That's because a 5-gallon bucket with a singular bucket screen hung over the sting works tons better. Steps to paint a wall. The following steps are to be followed to paint a wall. 1. Since rollers can't get tight to edges, the primary painting step is to brush along the ceiling, inside corners and moldings. This cutting-in process leaves brush marks that won't match the roller texture on the remainder of the wall. You will want to cover as many brush marks as possible with the roller for the best-looking job. 1. Do this by carefully rolling up on the brink of inside corners, moldings and, therefore, the ceiling. Face the open end of the roller toward the sting, and remember to not use a roller that's fully loaded with paint. With practice, you will be able to get within an inch of the ceiling rolling vertically and avoid crawling up on a ladder to paint horizontally. 2. A good roller cover is the most crucial part of the rolling setup. Buy a 1/2 inches nap wool blends with a roller cover and give it a try. With proper care, this might be the last roller cover you'll ever buy. Wool covers do have a few drawbacks, though. They tend to shed fibers when they are first used. To minimize shedding, wrap the new roller cover with masking paper and peel it off to get rid of loose fibers. 2. Repeat this process a few times. If you apply too much pressure to your wool covers when painting, they will become matted. A light touch is needed when rolling. Allow the paint to do the job, regardless of the roller cover you're using. Maintain a paint-filled roller cover and apply just enough pressure to release and disperse the paint. Pushing on the roller to get the last drop of paint off would just make it worse. 3. Paint the roller cover by dipping it about 1/2 inches into the paint and rolling it against the screen. It will take 5 or 6 repetitions to paint a dry roller cover. You'll only need 2 or 3 dips after that. Allow the roller to be nearly dripping with paint. 4. Paint the wall with a roller. With a sweeping stroke, apply the paint to the wall. Begin rolling upward at a slight angle with light pressure a few feet from the bottom of the rock and 6 inches from the corner. Come to a complete stop a few inches from the ceiling. 5. Repeat step 3. Reload the roller and repeat the method within the adjacent space, working back toward the painted area. At this point, don't worry about ridges or uneven coverage, just get the wall covered. 6. Water-based paints are fast to dry. If you go too slowly, certain parts of the paint can become sticky until you can smooth them out, resulting in texture variations on the surface. 7. Smooth it out. Steps 1 and 2 will give you a covered section about 4 feet wide, but it won't look good. To return to the beginning, without reloading the roller, and make long up and down strokes to even out the paint. Press lightly and overlap your strokes by 3 to 4 inches. Repeat this process to cover the entire wall. 8. Smooth the paint along the ceiling, employing a long horizontal stroke without reloading the roller with paint. If you're skilled enough to roll within and in of the ceiling while rolling vertically, you'll skip this step. 9. Lay paint on wall areas above and below windows and doors with an extended horizontal stroke. Then smooth it off with short vertical strokes, therefore, the texture will match the remainder of the wall. Keeping a wet edge. Maintain a damp tip. If you're enameling a door, varnishing furniture, or rolling paint on a wall, maintaining a wet edge is critical to all or any high-quality paint jobs. The idea is to schedule the labor sequence and work quickly enough to still lap freshly applied paint onto still wet paint. If you take a break in the middle of a wall, for example, and then resume painting after this portion has dried, you'll most likely notice a lap mark where the two areas meet. The rolling method, which is addressed, prevents this issue by rapidly covering a large area with paint and then returning to smooth it out, which leads us to the second essential painting technique. Laying on process. Lay it on, smooth it off. The most serious mistake most beginning painters make is taking too long to use the paint, whether or not they are brushing or rolling. Then quickly spread it out and repeat the laying on process. This will only work with a good quality roller cover that holds tons of paint. Until you're comfortable with the technique and obtain a pity for how quickly the paint is drying, cover only about 3 or 4 feet of the wall before smoothing the entire area off. If you discover the paint is drying slowly, you'll cover a whole wall before smoothing it off. Covering brush marks. Get as close as you'll. Since rollers can't get tight to edges, the primary painting step is to brush along the ceiling, inside corners and moldings. This cutting-in process leaves brush marks that won't match the roller texture on the remainder of the wall. You will want to hide as many brush marks as possible with the roller for the best-looking job. Do that by carefully rolling up on the brink of inside corners, moldings and, therefore, the ceiling. Face the open end of the roller toward the sting, and remember not to use a roller that's fully loaded with paint. With practice, you'll be ready to get within and in of the ceiling rolling vertically and avoid crawling abreast of a ladder to color horizontally. Removing lumps. Pick out the lumps before they dry. You'll inevitably find yourself with an occasional lump in your paint. Keep the roller cover far away from the ground where it'd devour bits of debris that are later spread against the wall. Drying bits of paint from the sting of the bucket or bucket screen also can cause this problem. Cover the bucket with a humid cloth once you aren't using it. If partially dried paint is sloughing off the screen, take it out and clean it. Keep a wet rag in your pocket and pick lumps off the wall as you go. The strain used paint through a mesh paint strainer to get rid of lumps. Summary. This module can be summarized as: painting is one of the smallest amount expensive ways to make over an area. Keeping a wet edge is crucial to all or any high-quality paint jobs, whether you're enameling a door, varnishing furniture or rolling paint on a wall. The biggest mistake most beginning painters make is taking too long to use the paint, whether or not they are brushing or rolling. Keep the roller cover far away from the ground where it'd devour bits of debris that are later spread against the wall.